Welcome, everyone. Today's session is titled My First 80 Hours as a SharePlex Admin. This is an excellent opportunity for you to gain valuable tips that will enhance your everyday workflow. Quest's own Alex Chan will share his experiences along with practical strategies to tackle some of your most common challenges. Let's make the most of our time together and jump right in. I'll turn it over to you, Alex.
Thank you, Jessica, for the introduction. Welcome to SharePlex Skills 101. This is episode 3, first 80 hours as a SharePlex administrator. I'm Alex Chan. I'm an enterprise tech support advisor here at Quest. Today, we will be talking about some tips, tricks, and tasks you will encounter as a SharePlex administrator. Uh, Here's our agenda today. We will be doing a quick refresh in the SharePlex processes, where we will be looking on where you can find the documentation resources, how to monitor your replication, and some parameters we can configure in SharePlex to customize your replication. Okay, let's start. So you might have seen this image a few times. This describes the data flow for the SharePlex processes. We have 5 main processes in the replication. We have capture, which is the process that will read from the database logs and record that data in the capture queue. Read is the process that will read from that data, complete if there's any information missing in that data, it will complete it, querying the database, the source database, and it will put it in the specific export queue it needs, right? Uh, from there, the export process will get that message, connect to the import, and send it through the network. The import process then will write it down into the post queue for the post to take those, process them, and send them to the target, which can be a local database or it can be another type of target, different type of targets. We will be looking into each of the processes with a little bit more details later. Okay. So if you require assistance or if you're looking for some information about anything around SharePlex, the best place to be it would be the support site from Quest at Quest support.quest.com. All the documentation for SharePlex is in the technical documentation section, includes the release notes, which you can find all new features for the specific version you are looking, supported versions of OSs and databases, uh, interoperability between SharePlex versions, issues that have been found, also known issues in the in that particular version. Also, you can find the administration guide, which contain all the information you will need to configure your replication, as well as some examples uh, scenarios you can configure, and and details on how to tune some of the processes. We also have our installation guides, which will have an installation guide for each type of source database that that we can manage here. And lastly, the reference guide will have the list of the most of the commands you can use in SharePlex and parameters you have in SharePlex and how they work and a small summary of what they do. You can also visit our knowledge base. It has no many articles, extensive number of articles detailing how to do specific configurations, known issues, and how to resolve it or work around them. And if you are unable to find the information in the technical documentation and you cannot find it in the knowledge base, you can always open a support case where my colleagues and I will gladly help you with your inquiries. Okay. Now let's jump into how we can check the health of your replication. Okay. The first thing we will need to verify it will be all the SharePlex if all the SharePlex processes are running correctly. In the SP control, the commands we will be using will be show and status. This command will provide you information of the process name. It will it will show you also the state of the process. The difference between show and status, it will be that show will show you information about queues and about the specific source also. Status will show you more about the process itself, the PID, how when it was started. The state we are looking here, we're looking the process to be is running. If the process is not working, it will show stop. There are different state of stop. It's stop by error, stop by user, and also you can find an idle state. The idle state is basically the process is restarting. This is also can be an indication that the process is failing constantly. Okay, besides show, we also have the show and status. There's also L status, which is basically a more detailed version of the status command. It will also show you the PID when it was started and the state, but it will also have information about the queues, how many messages are in the queue, what's the oldest message in the queue. Uh, what's the oldest message in the queue, and also have the information on the activation, on the active configuration, and the activation ID, what's the source database, and when it was started. Okay. For more information or specific information on the queue, we use the queue status command. This will show you the current number of messages you have there and the backlog messages that are there. Basically, the backlog messages are messages that the process in charge of processing those messages has not gone through them to those messages yet. Uh, each queue have a writer and a reader. The writer is the process that will put messages in the queue, and the reader is the one that's processing them. It's important to understand which process is the writer of each queue and reader of each queue. In the case of the capture queue, the writer will be the capture when it read the messages from the redo logs in the database. It will put them in the capture queue, and the read will get those messages. It will process them and send them to the export queue. So the export queue, the writer will be the read process, and the reader of that queue, the export queue, will be export process. In the case of the target on the target side, in the post queue you have on the target, the import will be the writer and the post will be the reader of that queue. Uh, so in these cases, it is helpful to know this information when you are trying to troubleshoot. If you see there are backlog in the capture queue, it's most probably an issue with the read process, not the capture process. Okay. You can also use the option, the detail option for the queue status command. The queue status detail will show you additional information, additional statistics for your queue, like how many message has been written, how many message has been read. You basically want this number to be close to equal. So if everything is working fine, you will be processing at the same speed you are receiving the messages. Uh, okay. Another important uh, piece of information we can get about your application, it's in the logs located in the SPC Sparder log directory. Uh, Everything that a process uh, have to do or run, it would be it will get a log message in each each process particular log. The event log will have the general events. It will have if a process starts up, if a process crashes, or if a process stops because of an error. It will be you will find a message in the event log. Even if a process core dumps, it will be showing in the event log. Uh, for each process, it will have specific log files. The particular name for each process log, it's listed here. In case of capture read, in case of capture, you will see it. The name of the logs will have OCAP in almost at the end. There are some examples there where you will start with the SID of the capture data of the database you are capturing from, and it will show the capture the uh, OCAP string there. Uh, those the for capture, read, and post processes, there will also be a DDL file, a DDL log, where if you're running any DDLs on if we are capturing any DDLs, those will be the events for those particular DDLs will be logged in this DDL files. Uh, if you can see here for read, we will have the same. Export, basically, it will have the queue name you need for the export, PORT for it. In the case of post, you might find two types of post logs. It's if your target is an Oracle database, or it will have OPO. If your target is a Postgre, Kafka, or any other type of target, the post logs will be XPST. The other type of logs you could find is the compare repair related events logs. On the source side will be DESRV logs, and on the target will be DECLT log. Uh, each time you start a compare repair job, it will have a job ID, and it will generate a specific job log for that specific a log for that specific job. Okay. If you are in SP control, you can also access these logs using the show log command. If don't use any process name, just type show log. It will show you the entries in the event log. Okay. And if you're trying to look into a specific process log, you can use show log, the process name command for each of the process. And here is an example of running the show log for a specific process. This is for a post. If you see there, we're being specific on the target. O.pdb19 is the target database name, and also the queue name. You can specify a queue name, so it will show you the specific queue, specific log for that queue. Okay. If you are looking to monitor the performance of a process, or you want to establish a baseline for the performance of a particular process, or you're experiencing any lags in one process where you can see backlogs going around, you can use the trace command for capture, read, and post. So you can collect statistic, and after the time, the trace file will generate a trace log where you can where it will show a summary of what the process was doing, how much time it was spending on each task, and a bunch of more information that will help you troubleshoot the performance. Uh, to run a trace command, we have an example here for a post queue. It will be trace the process name. If you're trying to run it for a specific queue, you will have a queue and the queue name, and you can end with how many minutes you want it to run for. In this particular case, it's for 5 minutes. If you don't specify the time, the default is for 15 minutes. This is an example of the trace file generated for the post process for the command we ran before. If you see, it will have the start and start and stop time, and it will have a different set of statistics like the operation transaction rate for this post process. You can also find how many transactions were processed during the trace, and also how is it composed, the transactions, how many of those transactions are less or equal than 2, uh, meaning that means that if you can have an insert and commit, update commit, that's a transaction less or equal than 2. That is useful while trying to improve the performance of the post because of some parameters we will be looking into later. Okay, can you see here? Also, there's details on what has been processed during the trace. Here you can see what is spending time. You're spending most of the time in commits, at least uh, in this environment. And how many inserts? What's batch inserts? How many commits, how much time it's taking the commits. Okay. If you want to check the status of your capture, usually we start with the show capture command. This command will have most of the information you will need from what's capture doing. Uh, in this particular example, we're looking into the uh, show capture command with the detail option at the end. This will show you more information, more detailed statistics than the regular show capture. Most of the show commands will have a detail option, so it will have additional information. If you just want a glance, you can use just show capture, and it will show just the first part. If it's running, how many operations capture, and when was it started. Uh, for show capture detail, you can also see uh, what's the Oracle. These two will indicate if your capture is lagging behind. Oracle current redo logs, basically the current redo log in the Oracle database. The capture redo log is the redo log capture is reading. If these two numbers are equal, it means that capture is basically around the same redo log that Oracle is, so it's up to date. You can also check the last change process. It will tell you the time of the last transaction of a replicated table that we have captured. So that can also give you an indication when it where it's captured right now, how behind it could be. If you're monitoring if capture is doing anything, operations capture and transaction capture will have some will should be changing, right? The this Every time you run show capture detail, if these two numbers are changing, it means capture is getting data. It should be putting it into the capture queue and to continue the replication process. Uh, other other things we can check if uh, to check if the capture is really moving around. It's total operation process, total transaction process, and total kilobytes read. These basically will change, should change every time because even if you don't have uh, transactions that are related to the tables you are replicating, a capture should be still continuing reading from the Oracle read log. So these numbers will be changing. Okay. Okay. As we mentioned earlier, the read process is the one that will get the information from the capture queue and process them. Uh, in this case, if in the case of read, if you're encountering issues, it will be reflected in the queues. The queues will should be if you're having issues, you will see the backlog increasing, right? So a quick way to check this issues with on read, or if you want to monitor read, a quick way to do it will be running a queue status. Uh, if you see a backlog, then you will need to check. Also, if the number of messages is it's something that and the backlog is zero, meaning that in theory everything has been increasing. It means that they are not being released from the queue. Might be an issue with read, might be an issue with the queues. These are something that queue status can give us light into if there's any issues. Okay. Other things you can do to monitor read will be the show read command. Usually, you can basically run the show read detail. It will show you as in capture. It will show you additional information. We here in support usually use show read internal with the internal option. It will give you a set of information that are more related for common issues with read. One of those common issues that we usually encounter is read going to into pass to. Read the way read works is that it works in a two pass process. If if a message is captured from the database and has the key columns in that message, read will go through pass one and send them to the export queue. If it doesn't have the key information, read will go into what we call pass two. It will connect to the database, collect the key information, put it in the message, and then send it to the export queue. These going to pass two will cause slowness in the processing, since that means it will need to go back to the database, collect that information, and process the message that way. Uh, One common cause of this going to pass through is not having supplemental logging for the key column of a table. Uh, the key column can be a primary key or a unique identifier. If the table doesn't have a PKR or UI, uh, SharePlex will consider all columns primary key, the key columns for that table for the replication. It means that if you are not using supplemental logging for all columns, read will need to go back to the table, get the information of the rows you didn't modify, so it can build the message to send it to the target for being processed. Okay, here's an example of the show read internal. Uh, Show read internal. So if you see here, uh, we can see this section of last operation forwarded. It will show you what's the last message you process. It will give you an idea how behind can read be. Uh, the read state, this is important because here you can see it's past one, means that all the messages it has processed have had the correct key information, and it read didn't need to go back to the database. If you are encountering pass two, it will be here that you can see the pass two state of read. Also, it will add one line here under after peak operations in the past. It will have the pass to block that is processing, basically a block of messages that need the key information. You can also see how many operations and transactions have been forwarded. And another indication of the pass of that you're encountering pass two, maybe right now it's pass one, but if you see here updates with key from Oracle, if this number is not zero, it means that read had gone through the database, collected some keys for some of the messages it's processing. So it will be good to monitor this number. It should be, if you want the best performance possible, this number should be kept in zero. It should be always be zero. If not, then we will need to analyze which table you're getting that key from Oracle instead of having the key in the message. Okay. For export import, well, export and import are really simple processes in SharePlex. They will both process will use the OS resource network resources to build a connection between them. Export will then send the messages through that socket into export, so the export can collect that data and put it on the in the post queue. Most of the issues you can encounter in between export and import are caused by network issues, not really on the SharePlex side. They're on the SharePlex side. Okay, if you see here, this is a result of show export detail. You will have three sections: since activated, since export started, and during the last X seconds. The X seconds will be determined by the what we call a export checkpoint. The export checkpoint will be sent by the import process. The import process will send, I have received the data, do a checkpoint here. It will send that message to the export, and the export will release those messages from the queue, so it doesn't process them again if there's a sudden restart or crash. So it's important to see the transmission rate for all these three. It will indicate how fast is it currently going, since export started and during the last X seconds. Based on that, also, if that's way below, let's say, the transmission rate from since activated, it means that the bandwidth or between the export and import might have been reduced, or there's some type of QoS making it go slower than it should be. These are things that you can take from this output. Okay. Okay. And let's talk about how to work with the posts, right? How to check posts. For post, the most often command used are qstatus and show post. Qstatus is the quickest way to see if we have a backlog in the post and which post, because you can have multiple posts going to the same target database. One can have backlogs and the other one can be normal and not have any backlogs in them. The show post command will help you determine additional information on what can be happening. And we can also use other two commands to see to get information about session and SQL statement. Common issues that we encounter in post is blocking sessions at the database level, and maybe long running SQL commands or batch commands on the target database. This can You can get some information if post is the one causing this. All three commands, show post sessions, and show SQL. Uh, you can specify the queue name. If you're troubleshooting one particular queue, you can specify that queue name. Also, show posts and show post sessions also have the detail option, so you can display more relevant information about your post queue. Here's an example of a show post detail for a specific queue. If you can see here, yeah, the show post detail is for PSC common. That's a queue name, the PSC common. You can see the last operation and last transaction posted, as in the show capture and show read. Uh, this will have information on what was the last operation and transaction posted. Uh, you can determine how behind is the post process. If you have backlogs, and this will show you maybe you are 3-4 hours behind. Uh, it's You can also see what's the post state, waiting, maybe recovery are states that you might need to pay. You will need to be checking. If you are in recovery or idle, you will need to check the post process. Also, what we can see, if you want to monitor if there's any progress, you can run the show post detail command a few times and see the changes here in operation and transaction posted. If these numbers at operation posted is increasing, that means post is sending transactions to the target database. If this is stuck, basically it's not moving, so you will need to troubleshoot that. Additional information, rollbacks and transaction composition. It's helpful for tuning. If you have too many rollbacks, it means on the source side there has been a group of rollbacks that slows down the post processing, the way the replication works. Those rollbacks will be the operations from that rollbacks are sent to the target, and then it will be processed, and then they will roll back on the target side. So if you have a large number of rollbacks, you might see a drop in the performance of posts. Okay, and also you can see the other thing that can cause posts to slow down is these batch operations. Because batch operations are done in a single thread, uh, they are applied as a single thread on the target, so posts cannot use any of the uh, any of the benefits of using multiple sessions to process in parallel. So batch operations is something we usually look into if you encounter any post slowness. Okay. This is using show post sessions detail. We can find what sessions are doing what. In this particular example, all the sessions that are active basically are waiting. The committed ones means that they might stay open as an open connection, uh, but they are not being used right now because they just run a commit. They are waiting for more data. The waiting ones, you can see session status waiting and active. Those are the ones that you are looking to have, right? If you don't have any sessions, then it means post is basically not doing anything. It just shows something like this. If you're using the detail option, it will show these last two columns here. The SID in the database will help you identify any blocking post sessions, maybe. You can see the SID that it will have in the database. So this, if you're running it with detail, you can encounter this information. Also, having this session number will help you use the show SQL command. Uh, show SQL command. Uh, this session will be usually used here in if you want to have the specific information of the SQL statement that the session is running. In this example, let's say session two, well, most of my sessions are running insert except for session six. You can see that the update, it won't show the values, but it will show you the structure of the statement you are running for that in that session. Okay, another thing we can do, it's uh, SharePlex is highly customizable using parameters. We have a lot of things we can set using parameters in SharePlex. Uh, if if you want details on what parameter can be used for something, the reference guide is a good place to start. You can see explanation how to use a specific parameter and what it does and what values it accepts. Uh, you can view what parameters there are with the list param command. There's a list param modified option. It will show you the parameters that are not in the default value, meaning that they have been modified. You can do list param all. It will show you a more extensive list. List param will show you the most used ones, but list param all will show you all the parameters available. The other thing you can see here is uh, is what are the values, type of values, when it will be the parameter will be set, and e- the information on what's the current values set to. Okay, to modify a parameter, we use the setParam command. It will be setParam, the parameter name, and then the value. You can also, if you are looking to modify just a specific queue, let's say post queue, you can specify the queue and the queue name for that. In this example, we are modifying the commit reduce message parameter for the PST common queue. We're setting it to 10K. Uh, some of the parameters, as I mentioned, uh, can be modified live. Others will require you to restart the process, or you restart SharePlex altogether. Uh, uh, if those basically are some of the memory parameters will require you to restart SharePlex to take effect. Uh, as I mentioned, the list param should show you if it's a live parameter, restart process, or restart SharePlex. And here's a list of most of the performance parameters we look into when trying to improve the performance of an environment. Uh, Here for capture, we have ASM multi-OCI that will help us doing more threads against a redo file that can help you to increase the performance if your redo logs are located in an ASM storage. Checkpoint frequency, we can increase these numbers, so we reduce the number of checkpoints in for capture while reading the redo. The benefits of this is less overhead doing the checkpoint on capture, but the downside of increasing this is that you might experience if capture is restarting, you might experience a long wait time before it start processing because it will go through uh, the messages that it already should have processed because of the long checkpoint between the messages. OLOG queue size on OPS queue size. This, depending on your environment, you can change this to increase the queue size for the internal capture process queues. That this is not the capture queue. This is an internal queue for reading the logs. Having this increase will help not for capture not need to write information to the disk, just use the memory. If your environment has enough memory to give to SharePlex, this will improve your performance, your capture performance. Uh, as for posts, you can usually the most used one for posts for Oracle are dependency check and commit reduce. Dependency check basically enables what we call post enhanced performance. Uh, uh, this will activate a logic in post to be able to use more parallel processing of the queues. So it processing the queue in parallel. The commit reduce is what we mentioned in the trace file. If you have an insert commit, update commit, followed by a delete commit, those are three commits you're running. Commits will take more time in the database. So if you use this commit reduce, basically it will consolidate those three operations in one commit, and that way you could reduce the number of commits that will reduce the time of processing in the target. Uh, and these queues parameters, basically these are used to increase the amount of memory you use for each queue. Each queue is processed in memory, and if it overflows the memory, you will read it from the storage part of the queue. Uh, always is fast. It's always faster going through the memory instead of going through the disk. So this will help you with the performance. Okay, this is my last slide. I hope you have found useful information on how to manage your SharePlex environment. I highly recommend you to review our technical documents, go through our knowledge base, and in case you have any questions or need help with anything, you can always open a support case, and we will gladly help you with that information. I thank you everyone for your time today. I would like to invite you to our next SharePlex Skills 101. It's about out of sync. It's called out of sync explain. My colleague Gabby Saavedra will be giving that session. You can use the QR codes here to register to any of the SharePlex Skills 101 uh, that you want to attend. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.